Perfect. So my first question for you is actually you started acting at the age of 6, studying alongside your grandfather. How has your study of the craft evolved over the years?
Um, I've been doing interviews for 7 years, and I don't know that anyone's ever asked me this. This is like my favorite question. Yeah, my grandfather was an acting teacher at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and I like grew up going to his audition technique class. So I like learned how to read in his acting classes, which is crazy. And then when I was 9, I asked him, "Well, where's the best place in the world to study acting?" And he said, "Well, I think there are two places. There's the Moscow Art Theater in Russia, and then there's the Yale School of Drama." And he's like, try to go to both. Try to figure out how to go to both. And I was like, okay. And then, kind of, since then, my life motto has been be careful what you say to a 9-year-old, because I made it like my life's goal. I went to the Moscow Art Theater. And then the only thing I wanted to do in my career was to go to the Yale School of Drama. And I didn't know what would happen after. So I didn't have any plans really to be an actress, just to train, just to like be a really well-trained actress. But he like instilled in me the pedagogy of never stop training, right? Like, no matter what you do, but as actors, you have to take it just as seriously as ballerinas or athletes. You have to go to practice. You have to stay sharp. You have to work with other actors that make you think about that approach it totally different than you do. I'm very lucky that that was instilled in me at a very young age. I hope that answered your question.
It did beautifully, actually. And my next question actually is with studying at the Yale School of Drama and also the Moscow School of Theater, how has that model of this conservative model influenced your acting on screen?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny. When I first started younger, because her and I both have like a really serious like theater background, we would show up on set and know our lines and everyone else's lines. That has since changed over the course of us doing this show, but it's one of the ways that having the conservatory rigorous training background. I also studied with an amazing company, city company led by Anne Bogart, and they instilled crazy discipline. So sometimes, like on Younger, when I would have long days of work, and I would have like sometimes you get a 2 hour break on set if there's a scene in between your two scenes. And I would just start, I would bring a book of Shakespeare and start memorizing some text just to be playing with other modalities while I was like working on, Darren's star language. It was helpful to also practice some heightened language just to remind me that like language is important, and not to let anything slide, when you're an actor, you have to be careful with how you're speaking. You have to make sure people can understand exactly what you're saying, and not just about diction, but about like the follow the argument. And that's one of the things we're taught at Yale, is like how to follow the argument and how to make sure, like, my job is to tell a story and that for you to understand it, unlike me talking right now. But my job when I'm on screen is to help you understand what the writers are doing. So yeah.
Absolutely. And with your character of Lauren, how has she evolved over the years from the beginning of the series to now the final season?
I mean, she has blossomed into a beautiful daffodil. I feel like I've been very blessed to play a woman who is openly queer, openly pansexual, and unconditionally, unabashedly loves herself. I feel like 7 years ago when we first started doing this, like we were still in the height of girls, but there was a lot of struggle stories being told about women, about queer people. And I feel like Lauren was one of the first of her kind to not struggle about classic issues that can get exploited in TV and film. And I feel like she has just continued that journey and blossomed even more. Now it's like there's never been any tokenization of who she is. And I feel like that really shines this season. She goes out with a bang, and it's fans of the show are gonna love how like we tie together her story.
And one of my favorite things about the show is the queer representation because we get to see a character that's so proud of who she is as a person. For you, what is the significance of queer representation, not just in the cast, but also with the characters?
I mean, I feel like what is most special about Lauren and how all the writers on Younger have represented her. And this is also true of the film that I have coming out this year called Milkwater, is that like my values and who I am in the world line up with who I am as an artist. And that is that there you can represent queer people as human beings, right? First. And it's a much later, not even anecdote, but like, I don't know. I have two hands, two legs, and I happen to be engaged to a woman, right? That's part of the significance of queer storytelling, rather than leading, she's queer, she sleeps with women, she has two hands and 2 feet. And so it's just an afterthought and an after fact, like that sexuality be presented later on. And I think that the fact that kind of the least important thing about Lauren is that she's queer is the best part about her.
Absolutely. And with portraying Lauren, what have you been able to learn about yourself, and how have you evolved with this character?
Let me tell you, when we first started making this show 7 years ago, I was only dating men just because it was easy. It was easy. It's like easy. I was just talking with a friend. You can like sleepwalk into your relationships and your sexuality. Um, and then I met like the love of my life, who happens to be a woman, and I didn't question it. And I think that's because I had Lauren in my bones. You know, I had the groundwork to fall in love and not to second guess it.
With the seventh season premiering, what are you most looking forward to audiences seeing?
I mean, this season was made with such love. We shot it smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. We wanted to finish the show, and we all wanted to do it for our audience, for the fans. So I am most looking forward to fans seeing this labor of love that we made. It's such a good season. The storylines are so good. It's high drama. It's high funny. It's like the perfect encapsulation of what our show has been, and we really send it off into the ether with the spirit of the show. It has such a good heart, and I'm so pleased with the ending, and I cannot wait for fans to experience it with us.
And what was it like for you guys to be filming in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Oh girl, it was pretty wild. It was a wild time. I mean, it's tons of PPE, face shields, masks, two masks, neck shields, COVID tests 6 times a week sometimes. Um, it was a whole new learning curve. It's, rehearsing with all this PPE on, so the first time you actually see what your co-stars are doing is when the cameras are rolling. It was kind of, there were some silver linings to it, but it was tough.
And now, with the seventh season premiering, what would be your farewell message to fans?
My farewell message to fans is, we love you and we will miss you. And if you miss us, you can always go back and watch our one through 7 seasons, because we'll always be there for you.
Well, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on such a beautiful character, honestly.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.